Gunaratne, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. Your insight is always very much valued. We now move over to Europe for our next story, where in the latest developments, Russian forces has launched a major drone attack on Ukraine's Black Sea port city of Odesa earlier today. At least one multi-storey apartment building was set ablaze, killing one resident and injuring 6 others, including a child. This marks the latest escalation as Russia intensifies its missile and drone assaults across Ukraine. Over 30 missiles and 300 drones hit 10 regions, including northeastern Sumy, leaving thousands without power. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has urged the international allies to strengthen air defense support, while both sides deny targeting civilians. The conflict has claimed thousands of Ukrainian lives. Odesa Mayor Arkady Turkanov confirmed more than 20 drones hit the city, causing widespread damage. Let's take a listen in to what one of the Ukrainian residents said.
Повністю вибило всі склопакети, вікна, постраждала квартира, десь, можна сказати, половина квартири згоріла. Все, що вище, там більш серйозний пожар, була пожежа. А на 8-му поверсі прилетів шахід, прямо тут.
As we are covering the Russia-Ukraine conflict, we have had news of more recent strikes, cross-border strikes, including missiles and drone attacks. We've seen over 300 reported drones head over to Ukraine from Russia, including to the Sumy area, which has left thousands in the region without any power. Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, has urged its international allies to strengthen air defense support. We're now joined by Professor Rohan Gunaratne to discuss this in further detail. Professor Rohan, thank you very much for joining us. What are your thoughts on this escalating, mainly aerial combat here? 300 drones sent over from Moscow into Ukrainian territory and strikes back vice versa. What are your thoughts on the escalating state of this war?
The latest strike by Moscow in Ukraine is a very significant escalation in terms of the magnitude, scale and intensity of attack. So we have seen that the Russians are able to sustain their operations contrary to the earlier Western assessments. What is so important today is for President Trump, who has built a good relationship with President Putin and also with the European leaders. Some of them are dead scared of him, but for them to come together to resolve this dispute, there must be equal emphasis on working together to bring this conflict to an end. Otherwise, it will escalate. Again, the Ukrainians will mount attacks, they will do clandestine intelligence operations, they will do kinetic attacks, and it will lead to a point where there will be no resolution, there will be no negotiation, no mediation. So as early as possible, this particular attack should ensure that all leaders come together to discuss and resolve this conflict.
Yes, indeed. And obviously this comes as a backdrop, Professor Gunaratne, with diplomatic developments. However, we haven't seen significance today. What do you think of how Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky, how close do you think they are to reaching this peace deal that has been sought after now for over 100 days by the US president?
Both Trump and Putin has maintained a very good relationship, despite this is a fight largely between Russia and the West. And what is also important is that the European leaders now understand that there must be a resolution. This war can't continue. It's going to bleed Europe. It's also going to bleed Russia. So I believe that this attack may be a turning point, because often conflicts have to reach a rock bottom in order for there to be negotiation. This devastating attack can be a turning point. I only hope that sanity will prevail and both parties will go in for discussion, because the scale, magnitude, and intensity of destruction is huge, and it's only going to escalate. Russia is replenishing its military armaments, its base. Russia is able to sustain this battle. Russia is also getting assistance from a number of other countries to fight this war. So the Russians are not going to stop fighting. Russians are not going to have a crisis of drones and other munitions to conduct this attack in the long term.
Yes, indeed. What potential ramifications could this wave of attacks have for regional energy and power infrastructure stability? We know that we've heard reports that some of these strikes have hit power infrastructure in the region. What are your thoughts on that, Professor Gunaratne?
Absolutely, because Thomas, as you know, it is the power that is important to feed the people. It is the power that is necessary not only to electrify, but also to run hospitals. So the day-to-day function, from sewerage to providing the essentials for people, depends on power. And that's why these targets have been taken. And that is why I'm seeing a shift towards a point of escalation that will cripple further negotiations. So I think that this is a time for the Americans, the American president and President Putin to work together.
Yes, indeed. We will now move on to our next story. Thank you very much, Professor Gunaratne, for